So welcome to episode 16 of our Aston Martin save, and to be honest with you, we're still living off that last episode. If you didn't watch the last episode, go back and watch it. The best one of the series on Tuesday by a distance. 7th and 8th for our two guys, both cars scoring points, and that made a massive difference in terms of the standings as well. If we have a look at the constructors, we gained 10 points. We're now only 6 behind 8th place Haas, and they're a team that we want to be chasing down. At 8th position is our target set by the board at the start of this season. If we have a look at the Drivers' Championship, 13th now, Sebastian Vettel, up 12 points he's now got, P13. Lance Stroll getting his first points of the season, scoring 4 points, which takes him above Mick Schumacher in the Haas. Kevin Magnussen, very much the man who is making Haas in that 8th position at this moment in time. Apart from that, if we have a look at the drivers, Lance Stroll has gained a performance point. He's now rated 80. Sebastian Vettel didn't quite. And also, if we have a look at the staff as well, just keeping you updated, Roberta Pellegrini also got a development point. She's doing all right, Roberta. She's settled in well. Our race engineers, by the way, very good race engineers as well, particularly Ben Mitchell, superb stuff. But as we say, it is the Singapore Grand Prix this weekend, but we've also got some facility upgrades to have a look at. And that facility upgrade is the Team Hub. Boost morale a little bit. As we were flicking through the screens there, you may have noticed that morale is normally okay. I'm hoping that with a better Team Hub, that might just boost the drivers' morale and the staff morale and just get a bit more of a feel-good factor around the place. So $2.5 million, not a bad spend, I don't think. That's not too bad at all. So then, as well as the facilities, we've also had 2 upgrades that come onto the car. The suspension, that's been improved now. Not massive improvements, but it should help us a little bit. And also the side pods. We've got new side pods on both cars. They've got these upgrades installed for the Singapore Grand Prix. And if we have a look, this is quite a circuit that may suit us. If we have a look at the circuit info, the overview, 61 laps round here. Ever-changing weather conditions does normally make for quite an eventful race, and safety cars are very prominent around Singapore. Circuit map is there, as you can see. Car attributes, low speed cornering. We're good at low speed cornering. It must be said that's probably one of the best parts of our car. So you never know, there could be another good weekend in store for us here. Expected strategies is the one-stop soft to medium. Hard compound tyre may be useful, but we'll have to have a look, assess it as we go. I'm now going to get into practice, get the car setups right, get these new parts familiarised with both drivers, and see where we go from there. We'll see you in Q1.
The name Singapore means City of Lions, and this weekend Formula One will be roaring into action. The bumpy street surfaces here make this a challenging circuit for the drivers, and the humidity causes them to lose as much as 3 kilos over the course of a race. But it's also tough on the cars, with 23 corners to tackle each and every lap. Good low-speed downforce will make all the difference here. With the season nearly concluded, time is running out for the team. Can anyone make a last-minute breakthrough? Can the leading drivers hold on? Only time will tell. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Formula One.
So here we go then, start of the qualifying laps, final qualifying laps in Q1 now. Sebastian Vettel has got a 5-place grid penalty for this weekend due to him having to take another gearbox. So something that we couldn't avoid, unfortunately, but it's just one of those things. He's been quite unfortunate, but we've just sent him out for one run in Q1. Lance Stroll already been out, as you can see, currently P16, so not too bad at all. Fernando Alonso has already crashed in this session, which is something to make note of. But yeah, not been too bad. We've showed a little bit of pace at times during this weekend, so things to be optimistic about. Lance Stroll is improving on his times as well. And have a look at that, there's not too much difference. We could catch the Haasses this weekend. I think we can be in the mix of beating the Haasses. We've seen through practice and a little bit of qualifying as well that there has been some crashes this weekend, so safety cars could play a huge part in this weekend's results, and it's hopefully one that we can maximise. Of course, Sebastian Vettel, even last weekend, on Tuesday's episode, did have a crash, but fortunately didn't manage to rule himself out of the race. Still managed to get a P7 despite going into George Russell. But maybe that was just getting a bit giddy, trying to overtake a Mercedes on the final lap. But a fair play to him, I couldn't fault him for it. Lance Stroll's green through both the first and second sectors here. We're looking pretty alright this weekend, I would suggest. 17th and 18th coming now. So we'll see what happens here. Sebastian Vettel crosses the line, goes P16. Lance Stroll looking to improve. Can he improve? Lance Stroll doesn't massively improve, and it's 17th and 18th. Showed a bit of pace, but 17th and 18th is where we are. Sebastian Vettel had a particularly good lap. Lance Stroll struggled for setup all weekend, so that may play a part in it. But I think there's still possible points here this weekend if we're alright with crashes and we play the strategies pretty well. So let's get into the strategies right now. So we are going to split the strategies here. Sebastian Vettel is going to start on the medium compounder tyre, just trying something a little bit different. Lance Stroll is going to start on the soft compounder, switching onto the hard. I've got a funny feeling. I just think we're a little bit better on the hard compounder tyre, so we'll see how we get on. But let's get to 5 red lights and see if we can make it back-to-back points weekends.
And there's Sebastian Vettel. They're in the back half of the pack, so they'll need to work hard if they want a podium finish. There's Lance Stroll, down the grid. They're starting in the bottom half of the grid today, so there's a lot of cars between them and the podium. Everything's been building to this. And this is it, the Singapore Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
And away we go, and straight away we're going to be on board with Sebastian Vettel on that medium compounder tyre. He has got the licence to really push here in this early stage of this Grand Prix. If we have a look at Lance Stroll as well, side by side our two guys, we don't want to be getting involved this early doors. It's going to be tight. I reckon we're keeping the DRS. There is points in it for today for us. Meanwhile, at the front, Charles Leclerc leads from Carlos Sainz, Perez in third, Bottas fourth, Hamilton fifth. And Pierre Gasly, a man that we're seriously looking at for next season, in P7. But back we are to guys, Sebastian Vettel looking to attack Max Verstappen. Did not expect to hear that sentence this afternoon, this evening here in Singapore, in the hot and humid weather of Singapore. No rain forecast. It's looking like a pretty clear Grand Prix this evening. We could have done with a little bit of rain just to excite us a little bit and give us a bit more jeopardy. But Sebastian Vettel, it's all on him in this early stages of this Grand Prix to be a little bit more aggressive on the tyres. He can do that.
Happy to push.
And hopefully keep up with Max Verstappen. That's going to be a lot easier said than done. But like we said, early doors, it's not looking too bad. And we'll look at this this train going around the streets of Singapore. What a circuit this is, by the way. Pleasing on the eye and so challenging as well. Sebastian Vettel keeping up with the Red Bull at this moment in time. We have got some quick cars behind us. Well, we've got one quick car behind us in particular, George Russell. I'm sure Sebastian Vettel is looking forward to getting to grips with George Russell again after their incident last weekend in Italy, in Monza. Be interesting to see if the two guys do end up making contact again, but so far so good. Max Verstappen still within the DRS range. We've got to get to the end of lap 2 to get that DRS and hopefully stick with the guys in front, but I'm hoping we can keep up with these guys. In front of Max Verstappen is Yuki Tsunoda, and then the two McLarens in Danny Ricciardo and Lando Norris. You join us back on lap 3 and we've already had team orders. Lance Stroll has been told do not attack your teammate. We're focused on keeping up with this little train in front. Max Verstappen is really struggling to get past the junior team, the sister team, the Alpha Tauri of Yuki Tsunoda. He's really struggling. Lando Norris is vulnerable. Lando Norris has lost DRS to Danny Ricciardo. He's on the medium compounded tyre. Danny Ricciardo is very much keeping up with Esteban Ocon in front of him. But Lando Norris is vulnerable. If Max Verstappen can clear these cars, we might just be able to jump on the back of that as well. As these guys keep fighting, Sebastian Vettel hopefully can just keep up. And like I said, we're going into turn 1 here. Max Verstappen trying to move round the outside, but can't quite get it done. Yuki Tsunoda getting the elbows out. Max Verstappen will continue to try and get past this Alpha Tower into the next corner. I've got the inside line. Max Verstappen looks like he's got the job done. And now Lando Norris with no DRS is a sitting duck for Max Verstappen in that flying Red Bull. Is he going to manage to get past him? Inside line into this next corner. He chucks one down the inside. Forces Lando Norris a little bit wide, and Max Verstappen is now going to chase after Esteban Ocon. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel has now got the Alpha Tauri of Yuki Tsunoda in his sight. We've just seen how difficult it was for the Red Bull to get past him. Sebastian Vettel's going to have to really push hard to try and get past him as well. But hopefully we've got a little bit more pace around here, and these low speed corners do suit our car, as we've mentioned a few times this weekend. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll keeping up on the back of Sebastian Vettel, but it's George Russell not making moves. 5-second gap between Lance Stroll and George Russell at this moment in time. If we switch his attention back to the front, Charles Leclerc has broke the DRS to Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz 1.4 seconds behind in P2. Then comes Sergio Perez, Valtteri Bottas, Lewis Hamilton in 5th. Guan Yu Zhou, Pierre Gasly running P7, Alonso 8, Magnussen 9, Danny Ricciardo making up the top 10, lap 4. Lap 5, we've swapped the cars. Lance Stroll was losing time behind Sebastian Vettel, so we've swapped him. He's on the soft compound tyre. He can afford to attack Lando Norris with the precious softer compound tyre. Lance Stroll now all over the back of Lando Norris. Can he get past him here with the DRS? I'm not too sure if he can. Let's have a look. Is he gaining? Is he gaining enough? Not quite. Yuki Tsunoda as well lost DRS. He's miles behind Max Verstappen now, 2 seconds. But I reckon Lance Stroll will get past Lando Norris in the coming laps. What did I tell you? Lance Stroll using that DRS. Fantastic move onto the start finish straight. Got the inside line. DRS open on Lando Norris, who'd also got DRS. Kept his nose in into turn 1 and turn 2. And then by the time we got round, he got the inside line, sorted Lando Norris out, and now it's time to attack Yuki Tsunoda. Guys, waiting in anticipation for another overtake. You are now seeing overtakes by Aston Martins on this career mode. You've waited 16 episodes. I hope you're enjoying it just as much as I am. And Lando Norris still can't come back at him. Lance Stroll using that ERS. He's having a go at Yuki Tsunoda. We're going to stick with this here. Can't quite get it done. But Lance Stroll up to P14. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel now on that medium compound tyre, just holding on to the back of Lando Norris. That will suit us down to the ground. Nothing changing at the front. It's still Charles Leclerc from Carlos Sainz. Sergio Perez 4 seconds back. And he's got a very quick Valtteri Bottas for company. Valtteri Bottas looking good for some decent points this weekend. George Russell, though, now closing up to the back of Sebastian Vettel.
Let's take a look.
This could be the Lance Stroll show. He just attacked Yuki Tsunoda later on lap 6. Job were done. Job were done before he got to the apex. Lovely stuff. Not going to say this too often. Lance Stroll is now chasing after Max Verstappen and possibly driving for his future here at Aston Martin. I would suggest we are quicker than the McLarens this weekend. George Russell's behind, but Sebastian Vettel using all his experience to put that McLaren of Lando Norris between him and George Russell. The two good friends now behind him. And Sebastian Vettel will now chase after Yuki Tsunoda to get that DRS and gain him a little bit more protection. We're loving this stuff in the Aston Martin garage. P13 and P15 now, looking good, and Sebastian Vettel driving a very good race on that medium compound tyre so far, and ever gaining on Yuki Tsunoda. Lap 9, George Russell finally got past Lando Norris and then chucked a very brave move on the inside in turn 1. Sebastian Vettel really didn't have an answer to it. Hopefully now we can just tail onto the back of this Mercedes that will be coming in. Remember, we're going longer on the hard compound tyre. So, could be an interesting one for Sebastian Vettel. This race, that is by no means the end of the world for our guys at all. Lap 10, Sebastian Vettel starting to fade a little bit. Lost the DRS of George Russell, and Lando Norris made a beautiful move around the outside, around turn 1 and 2. Fantastic work from Lando Norris. And unfortunately, Sebastian now back in P17. And then we've also had Mick Schumacher running wide in turn 1. Not too much there, just a little error from Mick Schumacher. Didn't lose too much time either, in fairness to him. Lap 12, George Russell starting to make his way through the pack here. Gets past Lance Stroll, nothing we can do. We lost DRS to Tsunoda, too busy defending against George Russell when we'd have possibly been better, just letting him through. But now hopefully George Russell will drag us up to the cars in front here. Lap 15, this battle's been ongoing for a long time now. Sebastian Vettel and Lando Norris really going at it, both cars on the medium compound tyre. But with that in mind, Sebastian Vettel now up to P15, which is fantastic. But a lot of the guys in the front now are starting to pit lap 15. A lot of guys coming in. We're going to stick at it with Lance Stroll at the moment. See what we can do here. Optimal pit stop lap is this lap. But we're going to see if we pick up anybody's sort of DRS as he comes out of the pits now. We've come out in front of Sergio Perez. We're behind Esteban Ocon. That's not worked too well for us. Possibly Sergio Perez were the one that we were hoping to latch onto the back of. We're not going to do that now. So I think now would be a decent time to look to pit Lance Stroll, and we'll get him onto the hard compound tyre and see how he goes. Lap 15. Here we go then, lap 16. Lance Stroll coming in for his pit. stop. You're looking at Sebastian Vettel now all the way up to P8. He's still being chased down by these two, which is not a problem at all, but we'll have a look at Lance Stroll if we possibly can. Here are our guys waiting. We could do a decent pit stop here. 2.7, not the quickest, not the worst. Where is he going to filter back out? That is the intriguing bit of this. He's been battling Yuki Tsunoda all afternoon. Does he manage to jump Yuki Tsunoda? He doesn't. He does. He manages to jump Yuki Tsunoda, which is great work. So I don't know quite what happened with Yuki Tsunoda. Lance Stroll, fantastic work. Now in P17 and got a couple of other guys to pit in front of him as well. Sebastian Vettel, we're going to take his time. We don't need at this moment in time to pit Sebastian Vettel. He's lapping decent pace. If we have a look at the last lap, 1:46.5. The hard compounder runners not proving too much better at this moment in time. Sebastian Vettel might be the one that we just tweak the strategy for to see if we can maximise the opportunities on offer today. 18, just a quick update on the strategy options. Have a look at the last lap on the left hand side. Sebastian Vettel's last lap was a 1:45.9 with no DRS. If we have a look further down, George Russell obviously in the Mercedes, but that's not really the barometer. Danny Ricciardo 1:46 dead, Lance Stroll 1:46.8 on the hard compound, Tsunoda 1:46.2, Mick Schumacher, that's not relevant, Magnussen 1:46.3, Guan Yu Zhou 1:46.3. Sebastian Vettel and these medium compounded tyres are looking specifically very good at this moment in time. He seems to be in a good operating window, and Sebastian Vettel looking very, very good at this moment in time. I'm wondering if we play the long game here, try and run him long, and hopefully bank on a safety car, and that's when we will strike. But lap 18, Charles Leclerc at the front. If we have a look now, pit stops have all been made. Charles Leclerc in P1 from Carlos Sainz, Esteban Ocon P3, Hamilton P4, Perez 5, Vettel 6, yet to pit. Norris in P7, Bottas 8, 9 for Alonso and 10 for Pierre Gasly. Reports of the tyres overheating from Lance Stroll, who is on the hard compound tyre and not pushing. The hard compound tyre might not be performing as well as expected at this moment in time. Lap 21, and although the optimal pit strategy was, the optimal pit lap was the last lap, 1:45.9 from Sebastian Vettel in that last lap. He's keeping up with Lando Norris. We just seem to have had a little bit of a gap just formed there, but still doing okay. Meanwhile, if we have a look at the strategy view for the other guys, Fernando Alonso's gone from soft to medium. Is he going to be able to make those medium compound tyre last all the way to the end, or is there going to be a two-stop? It's going to be interesting to see what they do. There is an argument to leave Sebastian Vettel out at the moment and see if he can just keep up with Lando Norris, although it looks like he's just about keeping hold of the DRS at this moment in time. Just within that 1 second gap, he cannot afford to lose DRS on Lando Norris. Right, a decision has been made. We're going to run long on these medium compounded tyre. We're going to hope there's a safety car, but if not, we're going to try and get to the soft tyre window, which is about lap 46. If we can get to that, I reckon another 23 laps on these tyres might be ambitious, but if we can just hold these guys up a little bit, be a bit of a mobile chicane, you never know, the race might just come to us. I mean, if we pit now, we're going to be basically back where Lance Stroll is, and it's going to be 15th and 16th. I don't feel there's anything to lose by trying this strategy. I feel there's everything to gain. It might blow up in my face, but as team principal, we've got to take a risk here. Lap 24, we are still in P6, but yet to pit, and Charles Leclerc's running away with this 10-second gap between him and Carlos Sainz. Interestingly, the last lap, we did lap a little bit quicker than Esteban Ocon, but if we have a look at the last lap just now, let's have a quick look at that. 1:45.4 for Sebastian Vettel, 1:45.6 for Esteban Ocon, 1:46.7 for Lando Norris. So a lot to be positive about here. 1:46.4, 1:46.3. I don't think this is the end of the world as Sebastian Vettel gets overtaken, but let's try the long game. Let's try something a little bit different here. Right, we've had a crash. Danny Ricciardo, I'm not too sure what's happened here. In totally clean air, he's driving along on his own. He's locked up the front and clipped the wall. Whether that's a retirement, I doubt it. No, we've gone from no yellow flags. We're back to green flag running now, so that's fair enough. But there is a few drivers starting to make errors. And meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel just hanging on to the back of this group. He's still got Lando Norris. Him and Lando Norris are both going long for the soft compound tyre at the end, and maybe hoping for safety cars. Max Verstappen now having a look at Sebastian Vettel, but Sebastian Vettel will get DRS of Lando Norris here. Valtteri Bottas will get dragged back in by Lando, and Sebastian Vettel just doing enough to frustrate Max Verstappen, not letting him past in P10. The guys in front now, Valtteri Bottas, 2 seconds behind Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso's done very well in the Alpine. Sebastian Vettel, we're ticking ever closer to that soft compounded tyre. Meanwhile, at the back, in fairness, I've not really looked at Lance Stroll. He's about to gain a position through Danny Ricciardo's retirement, but these guys are basically just stuck at the back. We're out of safety car, they're not even in it. All eyes are on Sebastian Vettel, who is keeping a keen eye on Lando Norris. Lap 29, we can't hold off Max Verstappen any longer. The tyres are finally starting to drop off a little bit, and Max Verstappen flies past us, gets the job done, and hopefully that doesn't lose us too much time into the next few corners. But us and Lando Norris look like we've got the same idea going into the softs later on in this Grand Prix. Lap 33, and we're still causing a lot of frustration for these guys behind us. Us and Lando Norris here doing fantastic work. I'm guessing Sebastian's going to try and get past him here. Can he get past him? He's also got the Mercedes behind him as well. He's having to attack and defend simultaneously. Seb can't quite get the move done, but does manage to hold off this Mercedes. I guess us and Lando Norris will be coming in around lap 44, lap 45, something like that. If we can keep these guys behind, if a safety car comes, we are absolutely laughing. Meanwhile, at the front, Charles Leclerc is having one of the easiest Grand Prix he's ever likely to have. 16 seconds in front of Lewis Hamilton, and at this moment in time, on medium compounded tyre, I'm guessing they're going to last to the end. I can't see the fact that these guys are on a 2-stop. But at the moment, we're just doing enough with Sebastian Vettel. Lance Stroll needs a safety car to pull him anywhere near back into the rest of the grid. He's just had a battle with Yuki Tsunoda, and there's not really much, apart from him and Mick Schumacher, happening for Lance Stroll. Promised so much, delivering so little. Sebastian Vettel making a move on Lando Norris, so as we flick back to the live viewing up top, Sebastian Vettel doesn't really want to be leading going onto the start-finish straight, but he's very much keeping his nose in through these tight corners, side by side. Great action here in Singapore as Sebastian Vettel and Lando Norris, the old generation against the new guy, really going at it here. Sebastian Vettel is going to have the lead going into the start finish straight, but that might not be beneficial for him, as not only has he got to defend from this McLaren, he's got to defend from the Mercedes as well. Lando Norris does take back P9, but now Sebastian Vettel will have DRS going up the next straight. Another few laps and this could all pan out quite well. We're praying for a safety car. It was nice while it lasted. This was the worst thing that Lando Norris and Sebastian Vettel could have done. They were that busy fighting each other. They let the Mercedes through. And on the back of this move from George Russell, it's also noted that Pierre Gasly's managed to sneak through as well. So Sebastian's now got to keep with it. Give it another 4 or 5 laps. That's when we'll be pitting. Lap 38, Yuki Tsunoda. Lance Stroll reporting minor ERS damage. I'm not quite sure what's happened there, but Yuki Tsunoda's locked up. I'm sure Lance Stroll will be glad to see the back of that guy today. He's been battling with him all afternoon. Lance Stroll now within a second of Mick Schumacher, back down in P16. So he's attacking Mick Schumacher, making it a little bit more interesting for himself. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel still trying to hang on to the bike of Lando Norris. We're going to go onto the soft compounded tyre in around 5 laps time. Then we should be one of the quickest cars on the circuit. Lap 45 laps on the medium compounded tyre, and Sebastian Vettel is now in. We'll have a look at this pit stop. He has got Lando Norris with him as well. Esteban Ocon, the other medium compounder runner from the start, is also in. So our guys now making the pit stops. Lance Stroll's actually overtaken Sebastian Vettel. We took a risk hoping for a safety car. Let's hope our pit crew don't let him down. It has let him down. 2.6 seconds, and McLaren gets out in front and manages to jump us in the pits. We're not happy with that, but we will get DRS on the way out. And hopefully a bit of traffic might just cause a few problems as well. But it was a risk worth taking. We expected a safety car, but we haven't had a safety car around Singapore. Disappointing. Lance Stroll now P14, doing a fantastic job on that hard compounded tyre. He's 3 seconds behind Mick Schumacher, but well in front of Danny Ricciardo. Should be alright towards the end of the race, especially as Danny Ricciardo's soft compounded tyre going to start going off any moment. But now we'll keep going, see what we can do, and hopefully try and beat Lando Norris. That seems to be the maximum for today. He might have jumped him in the pace, but he certainly hasn't managed to stay in front on track. Sebastian Vettel getting round Lando Norris. That's Lewis Hamilton in P2 that you can see, and really we need him to get out of the way because we are the quicker cars now on these soft compounded tyres. I believe Lewis Hamilton has absolutely shafted us here. Lando Norris managed to get past and unlap himself, I believe. But then Sebastian Vettel got held up massively behind Lewis Hamilton. He's now 1.5 seconds behind him. He's lost the DRS.
The team are
Yeah,
really disappointed
we're not
with
very
that.
impressed. This
Let's
lad in the
hope it doesn't
middle.
set them back too badly.
Yeah, we tried. We certainly tried. If we have a look at the timings on the left-hand side, we've got a crash though. Safety car. Is this going to be a safety car?
There's been a crash.
That might just change things. Guan Yu Zhou has crashed turn
There
7.
we have Joe.
Let's have a look here. Locks up. Does he lock up? No, he spins it into the wall.
That's it off.
Is that going to bring out a safety car? Yellow flags in sector 1.
Safe fuel, safe fuel.
We're currently on board with Lance Stroll, who's looking at the back of Yuki Tsunoda, surprisingly. Sebastian Vettel's now caught up to the Ferrari, who's leading. I believe that's Charles Leclerc. Is that Charles Leclerc? Carlos Sainz. He's caught up to Carlos Sainz. So Sebastian Vettel's having to deal with the front runners trying to catch after Lando Norris. God, I need some new teeth in today. Sebastian Vettel, he's looking like P18, but a risk worth taking. Multiple car crash, safety car is out.
Safety car.
This is going to be interesting. We're going to ignore the safety car, but we need to know what happened here. We've got Sebastian Vettel now running in P15. Let's have a look. Multiple car crash.
Right,
It's just come around 10 laps too late for us. It's the Haas, Alpha Tauri and McLaren look like they're involved. The Haas locks up, smashes the Alpha Tauri into the wall. Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel, we can see in the background there going through. And where does this leave everything? Haas, you've got to look at this guy in the middle here. He's not impressed at all. Let's have a look. Mick Schumacher is now out of the session. That is Yuki Tsunoda. Lando Norris now running P14 behind Lance Stroll. They're all going to bunch up. Will any of the front guys pit? That's the interesting bit. We've got 4 laps to go here. This is going to bring everything back into play. Everything back into play. We're going to get both our guys on harvest.
We just need to charge up.
As we look to get back in the pack. And this is where it can get very, very interesting. Mick Schumacher is in the pit. Fernando Alonso on medium compounded tyre, 41%. Now, Pierre Gasly similar. Everybody's had one pit stop. And all the field now is going to bunch back up. But us and Lando Norris on the soft compound, and the fresh soft compound as well, this could be a real battle to the end. We'll come back when we go in to green flag running. Lap 58, safety car is in this lap, and it's now time to go full attack mode for Sebastian Vettel. When we restart in a moment, look at the pack, all backed up now. We've got Sebastian and Lando on fresh soft compound tyre. Danny Ricciardo on the really battered soft compound tyre should drop like a stone. Lance Stroll also in a position here. Could we make some moves? We're about to get back to green flag running, and Lewis Hamilton will be behind. Lap cars have not overtaken, interestingly.
4 laps to go.
They've now moved out of the way, and Lewis Hamilton will chase after Charles Leclerc. That's been a nice restart for him. Meanwhile, if we have a look at Lance Stroll, Sebastian Vettel's got jumps off the start, unbelievably.
McLaren gain a position.
And we've got lap cars getting in the way. This is not good. We're having to let cars through. This is not working particularly well at all for us. More due to game dynamics more than anything else.
That's it.
And we have lost, the amount of time we've lost to Lando Norris is an absolute joke. Get out of the way, Lance Stroll. Do not fight your teammate. He's on the softer compounded tyre. Let him pass. Lando Norris, who we were behind, is now running in P10. We've been absolutely shafted from that safety car restart. Absolutely shafted. Lando Norris somehow managed to get up to P10 due to the lap cars, and cars trying to unlap themselves. Now suddenly, we're all the way back here, unless we're going to manage to get this sort of benefit as well, as it sort of resets itself. But Sebastian Vettel is on full attack mode now, deploying the ERS as well, both cars deploying ERS. Let's keep an eye on what happens with Lando Norris here. Lando Norris has got Ocon behind him, then Kevin Magnussen, then Guan Yu Zhou. But there's also a Red Bull in the mix. The whole grid is so jumbled up here. This safety car has not acted right, and it's not being done right in the game dynamics, I don't believe. And I've got to say, I'm quite frustrated with it. We've now got Danny Ricciardo for company, which we're going to attack down this start-finish straight. 3 laps remaining, and hopefully we can push. But how on earth Lando Norris has managed to get into P10? That could have been us. That so could have been us. As we move on towards the last lap, Charles Leclerc, he's led all the way. He probably had his heart in his mouth when the safety car came out, but he's managed to keep his lead. Fair play to Charles Leclerc. He's had a cracking race this afternoon. Verstappen and Perez are there now as well. Sebastian Vettel running down in P16. Just can't seem to get past Danny Ricciardo. And despite being on the tyres, he's got to get past him. We'll move it on to overtake. See if that helps us somewhat. He looks like he's going to try and go for a move now down this straight here into this left-hander. Can he make a move? He can't. Danny Ricciardo covering off the inside line. His tyres must be absolutely cooked. If we don't beat Danny Ricciardo today, there's something seriously wrong. As we're all backed up and we're just not getting the chance to use these tyres. This race could have gone so differently for Sebastian Vettel. Unfortunately, it hasn't. He's now managed to get past Danny Ricciardo. Can he get past Mick Schumacher? That's the next target, and then he's got a few cars in front of him as well. I just think it's absolutely scandalous how Lando Norris has managed to get to P10 and we're sat down in P15. That's the frustrating thing here for us. And on the final lap, there's been a multiple car crash again. Looks like Fernando Alonso is involved this time. It's all come a little bit too late, and these Hassers are just in kamikaze mode today. Locking up again, smashing Fernando Alonso into the barriers. I bet he's absolutely livid. Haas have been shocking this afternoon. We've had to conserve a little bit. We've got yellow flags in sector 1, P14 and P15. Looks like the absolute maximum for us today. We're all out of battery, we're all out of fuel, we're all out of optimism and hope as well as we come towards the checkered flag. Round the start-finish straight, Charles Leclerc has won it, and Sebastian Vettel does finish in P14. We took a risk, he didn't pay off. Lance Stroll will feel a little bit hard done by, but I feel a little bit hard done by how Lando Norris managed to get there and we didn't when we were next to him on the safety car restart. But let's get to the classifieds and see what that climactic finish turned out in terms of results. And so there we have it, Charles Leclerc winning by a distance. He won at a canter today in Singapore, didn't he? Carlos Sainz coming in second, Hamilton completes the podium, Sergio Perez fourth, Max Verstappen fifth. Have a look at our guys, Sebastian Vettel P14, Lance Stroll down in P16. Drivers' Championship wise, Charles Leclerc, and he's leading the Drivers' Championship from Carlos Sainz. Max Verstappen in third, a good 70 odd points between those two. So it's looking very much like the Drivers' Championship, unlike in real life, is going to Ferrari, and in the Constructors, Ferrari absolutely running away with it. I hope for more today, I hope for more, I hope for back-to-back points. We didn't quite get it. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next Tuesday for the next round of our Aston Martin save.